Hello, name's Caleb Corville. This is FTH 202 Revolvers for SDI. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, first things first. Our original trigger pull measurement was in single action 5 pounds, and in double action it was 11 pounds. I went ahead and measured it 4 times, and on each one to get that baseline prior to beginning using the stone and polishing. The surfaces that I went ahead and worked on were the double and single action sear here, and I polished up the backside of the trigger. Just basically touched it because I didn't see any real high spots on it. Yeah, so we're gonna just see how that does, and if I don't like it, then I'm gonna take a little more off. But in my opinion, it's important to do this a little bit at a time, because the last thing I want to end up with is a 3-ounce trigger on accident, or a trigger that doesn't work at all. The reason why that I polished these areas in particular are because they were the only high spots, yes, but these are the ones that are going to smooth out that trigger pull for me the most. And as you can tell, I used a very, very light coat, applying the layout fluid very conservatively. Only spilled a drop or two on my workstation. Alright, now after assembling the firearm, I left the handguard off because I don't want to keep putting that pin in and taking it out and putting it in, because I'm probably going to do this a couple of times. We're going to go ahead and check to see if the firearm is clear. It is clear. You can see my hand on the other side. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to basically use this thing in single action. I'm going to pull back on the hammer and let it down. Okay, everything seems to be locking up. The trigger is working. Alright, do that for 3 or 4 cylinders. Just to check for that rotation. The next thing we're going to do is pull back on the hammer while we're putting pressure on the cylinder. A little bit of drag. You're not trying to stop the cylinder, you're just trying to put some force on it. And then we're going to try and rotate that cylinder just to see if the cylinder stop is working, which it is in this case. Let's go ahead and give it another go. Go ahead and just put your finger on it. Rotate, and we're in place. Okay, and that is the dry functions check. No dummy ammunition. The only dummy is behind the phone. After filing down the high spots, after doing my layout fluid and all that stuff, I did notice that it's much smoother. It really is. It feels much better than it was. I took a mental note of the grit, the take up, all of that, and then after I weighed the trigger, I noticed I'm talking like an ounce or 2 lighter. Not so much so that it's enough to take note, but it is an ounce or 2 lighter, it feels. So, you know, I'd still call it a 5 to 11 pound trigger, but feels much better. I'm happy I did this. Might go a little bit further with the polish after I make this video. So for the trigger pull measurement, when I was done just to show the results. Measured it at maybe 2 ounces, lighter. I didn't do a bunch of work with this file. I really just wanted to touch it, just to see what would happen, just hit those high spots real quick. I did use this heart-shaped kind of stone file, and by the markings you can tell what I used most of, just because of those small rounded edges on the insides of the sear. Yes, but anyway, all in all, pleased with the first round of this operation. I'm instructed to say what I could have done to make the process smoother, or what I could do more, you know. Anyway, I was trying to get the layout fluid to come through the little brush here, and it exploded. It ruined my Aaron Lewis t-shirt. So yeah, be careful when using layout fluid. Probably don't need to tell other people that, but that's what I could have done. It ended up all over my workstation, as you can tell. I got into the wood right here, and this stuff will stain. So yeah, that's about it. Alright, for the next part of the video, we're going to go ahead and replace the mainspring and trigger spring with this aftermarket set here, provided to me by Sonoran Desert Institute. The curriculum didn't say to record replacing these, but after finishing up the polishing and replacing the mainspring as well as the trigger spring, I came out with a 8-pound double action and a 2.5-pound single action, which I was very surprised by. Wasn't expecting the 3-pound difference, but all in all, I'm very pleased with it. It's much smoother now. So I want to make sure you know it's clear. It's much smoother now. All in all, feels better. So 10 out of 10 for sure. Thank you very much. If you're watching, I appreciate it. Yeah.